Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us in today's episode of BioWiz podcast, Meet the Weezard. I am happy to be here today with Mickael Bensadoun, co-founder and co-CEO of FRÉ Skincare. Hi, Michael. How are you?
Hi, Elizabeth. Great. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for being here today with us. So, Michael, I would like to start by asking you what we are asking all our guests here. Could you start by telling us a little bit more about your journey and what led you to where you are today?
Sure. So I will start by the beginning. I was born in Morocco, where I grew up until age 18. After that, I studied in France, in the US at Columbia University, and I immigrated to Israel 20 years ago to do my PhD and to contribute to the state of Israel. The first thing I did professionally in Israel is to work in philanthropy. Actually, I was a teacher. First of all, I taught at university a few years. I forgot this one. And then I had the chance to work for the Rashi Foundation. So a big and amazing foundation created by Gustave Leven, Zichro Livracha, and headed by Eli Elalouf, who I learned a lot from him. And there I had a chance to help the periphery of Israel in education, social welfare, and also help immigrants succeed in Israel. We all know how important immigrants are, for the Israeli success story. And with the Rashi Foundation, I had the privilege of creating a non-profit called Gvaim. Gvaim in heights. And the non-profit Gvaim basically helps highly skilled immigrants to create startups in Israel, to find quality employment, basically to give their very best to Israel. I was also in charge of creating a French-Israeli school and other, educational projects. So most of my career, I worked in non-profit philanthropy because I love to contribute, to feel part of, social impact and communities that do good. So this is what I did for 15 years. And at some point, I was a bit frustrated, I would say, by the business model of the non-profit. Non-profit is amazing in terms of doing good, in terms of what it gives to yourself when you have the chance to be a volunteer or an executive or a team member in a non-profit. But the business model is not simple. You have to raise donation and again donation. And at some point you feel that the scale is a bit hard to achieve. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, honestly, to make a living from a non-profit was not something that I felt good about. And I was reading a lot about, how a business is evolving and how the social impact and the business are now joining forces. And basically, we reading, I understood that business have a more biggest likelihood to have a sustainable social impact. And so my dream became to create a business that would have a real and sustainable social impact. And that's how we started FRÉ with my partner, Mickael Bensadoun.
Okay, so that's about FRÉ Skincare. Could you tell us a bit more about what you are doing over there?
FRÉ is the first skincare solution for active women. So we develop specialized solution for active women and athletes, targeting their core problems, sun damage, acne, dehydration, aging, with solutions that are sweat friendly and that are very performing, and that not only are highly performing but also based on clean ingredients. And at FRÉ, we have from the very beginning we have decided that we would have a social mission that would be at the core of FRÉ. For us, it's mostly planting argan trees in Morocco. So for every skincare set that we sell, we plant a tree in Morocco, an argan tree, because we use this ingredient and we want to give back to nature, 1,000 times more than we use. And two, doing that, we support the communities of women who harvest the argan oil in Morocco and make a living out of it. So we are doing two good things, I think, with our social mission, giving back to nature and also empowering the amazing women, but very unprivileged women that harvest the argan oil in Morocco.
So how do you manage to conciliate that, the desire to do business, but also to do good deeds?
I think it's very complementary. You know, people tend to think that social impact can be at the expense of the business, and you can hear people telling you that you are crazy, you need to make profit. I think it's nonsense. In terms of, I will talk first of all in terms of business, it's nonsense because when you have a social mission, not only it does good to, you know, to the people who lead this mission and give motivation, but it's good for the business. So at FRÉ, you know, Michael and I didn't do that because we thought, wow, it will help the business. We did that because we think that business have a responsibility to do that. But we learned on the way that it's even good for the business. Why is good for the business? For several reasons. First of all, I think the customer these days are much more aware and they are looking, you know, to buy from companies that do good and that have clean ingredients and then have a sustainability policy and a social impact policy. So it's a big win-win for the team. I think, you know, we all want to work for a company, corporates that are meaningful. These days, I think in particular, young people, they are looking not only for financial rewards, but also to know that they are part of a big journey and of improving the world. So I think really it's super complementary, even more so in brands like FRÉ that are direct to consumer. So we sell directly to our consumer on our website, FRÉSkincare.com, and the mission is part of engaging our customer, our customer, building the loyalty to the brand. So it's really a big win-win, and not only does good to the soul of the team and of course the co-founder, but it's great for the business too.
Do you observe any kind of specific challenges on the way?
Yes, of course, always. There is no way without challenges. I think the biggest challenge is to take it very seriously, to take the social impact, you know, as seriously as the financial aspect of the company. So, you know, I like to portray FRÉ and say that we take the business and the social part as seriously, but I don't think it's true. It's true that you tend yourself to grow, and sometimes you tend to give more attention to the product development, you know, to the financial aspect. So the big challenge is to make sure that you have the right structure to take your social impact as seriously as the business. I think we are really on this the right direction at FRÉ, and I try to give as many hours as I can, you know, working with the High Atlas Foundation, our partner in Morocco for planting the trees, working with our ambassadors in the US because they also volunteer to empower girls through fitness. We have all sorts of things that we do. And I would say you have to measure it and take it as professionally as a business. That's a challenge.
And what would you say regarding specifically the products that you are offering based on argan? What would you say are your biggest achievements so far?
Yeah, so our biggest achievement and the thing that we are most proud about is the satisfaction. We have a very high customer satisfaction rate. Our net promoter score, NPS, is around 90, between 80 and 90. Currently it's 90, 91 the past week, which means that more than 90% of our customers are very satisfied with the product. And I think it is due to the fact that we take the product very seriously. We don't consider skincare as just marketing, but we understand that it must be backed by science, and it's closer to dermatology than to just pampering product. So we are very proud to have this satisfaction rate and a big also retention rate, meaning that more than 45% of our customers buy again after their first purchase, which is very high according to the benchmark, which is more 20-25%.
That's great. What are your upcoming goals in that regard? How did you came to discover all the properties of argan?
Yeah, so there is a story, you know, behind every company and behind your question. Actually, Michael, my partner, and I met 6 years ago through a friend. Anat Geifman was a consultant at Gvaim and a friend of Michael too. And we decided that we wanted to do a business together, and a business that would have a social impact, as I told you. And the first project we did together was with two great philanthropists and businessmen who asked for help to plant argan trees in the Negev desert, in the desert of Israel in the south. Because as you may know, argan until now was growing mostly in Morocco. So it's a Moroccan endemic tree. And his two friends wanted to make the argan have an aliyah to Israel, to the Negev. And they asked for help because of our, mostly my partner's business background, and because I have some family in Morocco and they are in the agriculture there. So, back to roots, I would say. And this is how we learned about argan. And I think we fell in love with the tree. It was a surprise to me that I could connect strongly to a tree, but I love the tree, to learn about it. Argan is a very resilient tree. I would say that is a bit rebellious. It's not like the most beautiful one that is showing off. It's very wild. It grows in the desert. It doesn't need a lot of water, and I think it has a lot of personality. We knew that it's great for the air. Everyone knows that argan is great for the air. And we learned with our dermatologist, with specialists in botanical solution, about what argan does to the skin. And we developed together with her, with Dr. Sharon Rosenblatt, these patents. This is how we discovered argan and fell in love with the tree and the story behind all the harvesting in Morocco with the cooperative, which is a great social project, by the way.
Completely, it's very inspiring. I'm a bit curious about the dynamic between you and your partner. You seem to be extremely complementary. How did you two meet? How do you make it so complete?
So first of all, as you say, we are very complementary, and I think we understood that very intuitively from our first meeting. Both of us, I think after one coffee, one tennis match, we decided that we wanted to work together, which was crazy. If I think back, we didn't know each other very well. I cannot say that we were even friends. We just connected and felt probably that we are just completing each other. And, as everyone knows, to co-found a company is a challenge. It's a challenge to be two co-CEOs, two co-founders, for sure. It's not something that is natural. It's something that you need to work on. And we are very, I think, lucky and very grateful that the journey is going very well. We have very clear responsibilities. I think we know our strengths, we know our weakness. So you learn a lot and you grow a lot. Right?
Very different backgrounds also.
Yes, very different background. So Michael is more on the financial business aspect of things, very good also at product development. And my background, I shared more. So I shared about it. And I am more passionate about building communities, about customer, also the customer community and the social impact, obviously. So yes, we are very complementary, and we are lucky that the relationship is going so well.
Do you have, on that note, any advice that you would like to give to young entrepreneurs of the cosmetic industry?
So the industry itself, I would say that if you are interested into skincare, you need to make sure that you have a strong USP, that you are not just another brand. The world doesn't need another skincare company. There are enough skincare companies, so you need to make sure that you have an innovation, that you have a story that is unique, or you have a business model that is really disruptive. If you don't have that, don't start. And I think if you have this dream, if you have this vision, it's possible. It's very possible. The market is big. These days, people are looking for indie brands, for small brands that are very authentic, that have a real story, a real passion for the brand. And so you can compete with the big dinosaur, like with the Estee Lauder and L'Oreal. Instagram, the social media, the ambassadors, the influencer marketing make it possible. So I would say, first of all, make sure you have a real vision, and then really the sky is the limit. If you have the right team, I think everything is about teamwork. You have to understand that you cannot on your own have all the skills that are required to build a company. So co-founding a company is for sure is a good idea because even statistics show that you are more likely to succeed with a partner. And building a team and having advisor and always, challenge your ideas, getting a lot of advice. I think that helped us a lot with Michael. Like not only do we talk with each other a lot, but we also have advisor that we trust. And every time, we feel we are at a crossroad, we take the time for the strategic decision. So on the one hand, you need to be very fast because startup is about growing fast. On the other hand, you need to know when you need to slow down and when it's strategic. So you need to take the time and to really take the right decision.
That's a great piece of advice. Thank you so much, Michael, for sharing your journey, for sharing your experience with us.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, Elizabeth.